somebody, I think it's necessary to have somebody from the board that's really like checks and balances, not micromanaging, not doing that. But in our district, we had our board member, she went in on the meetings, and she was basically that third party. Well, we had a committee, a third party, to make sure that everything was right. Not saying that people won't do the job, but it's almost like checks and balances, and it goes back to that accountability standard. Same way with the secretary. Not doing the job, basically, but just making sure things are going right.
Does anybody else wish to comment on that before we open for nomination?
I have a question. We can choose to do one member one way and one member the other way too, right? We don't
Correct. No, we can, exactly, we're not, yes. All right.
You're suggesting that we have a treasurer and secretary for the Willow Run business only, and that we remain without one with two proxies for his.
You know, I'm honestly not making a recommendation. I think that both systems work very well. I think Mr. Garrett raises a good point about how that's working Willow Run, and if that's what that community is comfortable with, then I would honor that. I think, frankly, a lot depends on if there's anybody that's actually interested in holding that office. If there's somebody interested in holding that office, there's no reason not to appoint a person to do that. And if there's not a person interested in holding that office, then we have the latitude in our bylaws to appoint somebody else to do it. So what I would propose is that we go ahead and open the floor to nominations. We see if there's anybody interested in that position. And if we do, we put it in nomination and approve it. If there's nobody interested in it, then I will offer a suggestion that we take a motion to appoint the appropriate individual, and that way we'll fill the spots one way or the other.
I just want to say, I agree with what Trustee Garrett said, and maybe another way that we could do have checks and balances is also have a committee, a finance committee for Willow Run. I know we're used to doing that, but yet and still maybe have the treasurer be the CFO. I like that idea as well.
Well, if I may, we have in the board policy, it does say that the option of the board, it's at the option of the board, but selected duties may still be assigned to the district staff. So it's more or less in name where they're the signatory. And of course, if you have a finance committee, then the treasurer is usually on the finance committee. And we just kind of would like to keep in mind that if we're basically on three different tracks, we have the entity of Willow Run, the entity of Ypsilanti, and the entity of the new district that's going to take place on July 1. If you have a treasurer and a secretary, you then have the consistency of the same two people through that entire process of the Willow Run, the Ypsilanti, and the new unified system.
I wanted to add to that. I think it's important. We can go either way, or we can have them continue down the path that they have. But I think it's probably a good idea if we can find one that we can do for both. And considering the number of new board members, it might be another way to understand aspects of or further learn a different aspect of all the things that go behind running the district. Mind you, over the next couple months, the board has to make many decisions such as committee structure, how you want to deal with that. The board will have a chance to reorganize and revisit all decisions that's made. But in those couple months, if we have a consistency with secretary and treasurer, and those board members again learn a different angle, there'll probably be a little bit more to offer. And this is something that is really more signatory to a lot of the work to these positions. We provided the title, but a lot of the work really gets handled by staff, but it's a great opportunity for new board members to get a better understanding of the things that go behind on the treasury side as well as the secretary side.
Does anybody have any questions about the duties that entail before we move forward? Right. Just informationally, why don't we start with, is there somebody that would be willing to have their name placed in nomination for the position of treasurer? Okay, since there is somebody that's willing to take that task on, I open the floor for nominations for the position of treasurer. Mr. Myers.
I would like to nominate Trustee Vanderwart for treasurer.
Was Trustee Vanderwarp's name has been placed in nomination for position of treasurer for the Willow Run School District, and that motion was supported by trustee Garrett, I believe. Is that correct? Thank you. Are there any other nominations for the position of treasurer for the Willow Run School District? Seeing none, I'll accept the motion that we close the floor for nominations for the position of treasurer for the Willow Run School District. Been properly moved by trustee Ragland. Is there a second to that?
Support.
It's been properly moved by trustee Ragland, supported by trustee Scheller Edwards, that the floor be closed for nominations for the position of treasurer for the Willow Run School District. All those in support of closing motions, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Trustee Vanderwerf's name has been placed in nomination for the position of treasurer of the Willow Run School District. We'll now have a vote to affirm that appointment. Trustee Bates, aye. Trustee Garrett.
Aye.
Trustee Hawkins.
Aye.
Trustee Myers.
Aye.
Trustee Ragland.
Aye.
Trustee Scheller Edwards.
Aye.
And trustee Vanderwerf. Congratulations, Mr. Vanderwerf. I open the floor now for the nominations for the position of treasurer for the school district of Ypsilanti. Are there nominations? Trustee Myers, would you be kind enough? Vanderwerf.
Okay, I nominate trustee Vanderwall.
Thank you. Is there support for that nomination? Are there any other nominations for the position of treasurer? Seeing no other nominations, I'll accept the motion that the floor be closed for the nominations for the position of treasurer for the school district of Ypsilanti. Motion's been properly made by trustee Myers, supported by trustee Ragland. The floor be closed for nominations for the position of treasurer for the school district of Ypsilanti. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Trustee Vanderwerf's name has been placed in nomination for the position of treasurer for the school district of Ypsilanti. It is a roll call vote. Trustee Ragland. Trustee Scheller Edwards.
Aye.
Trustee Vanderwerf. Trustee Bates. Aye. Trustee Garrett.
Aye.
Trustee Hawkins.
Aye.
And trustee Myers.
Aye.
And that motion carries unanimously. Thanks again to trustee Vanderwerf for being willing to take on that task. That takes us now to the nominations for the position of secretary for the school district of Willow Run. I open the floor for nominations for the position of secretary. Is there anybody that would like to acknowledge that they would be willing to be considered for that position?
I'll be what?
Thank you, Mr. Myers. I appreciate your putting yourself forward. Is there somebody that would be willing to nominate Mr. Myers?
Support.
Mr. Myers, trustee Myers' name has been properly placed in nomination by trustee Ragland and supported by trustee Garrett, Vice President Garrett. Are there any other names to be placed in nomination for the position of secretary? Seeing none, I'll accept the motion to close the floor for nominations for the position of secretary for the school district of Ypsilanti. Is there support? Motion's been properly made to close the floor for nominations for the position of secretary for the school district of Ypsilanti by trustee Ragland, supported by trustee Scheller Edwards. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. And the motion carries. Trustee Myers' name has been properly placed in nomination for the position of secretary for the school district of Willow Run Ypsilanti. Willow Run. Thank you for Willow Run. It is a roll call vote. Trustee Scheller Edwards.
Aye.
Trustee Vanderwerf. Trustee Bates. Aye. Trustee Garrett.
Aye.
Trustee Hawkins.
Aye.
Trustee Myers.
Aye.
And trustee Ragland.
Aye.
And the motion carries unanimously. One more time. Okay. So I open the floor for nominations for the position of secretary for the school district of Ypsilanti. Are there any nominations for the position of secretary?
I nominate Gregory Myers.
Is there support for that nomination? Motion, Gregory Myers' name has been placed in nomination by Vice President Garrett, supported by trustee Vanderwerf. Are there any other nominations for the position of secretary? Seeing none, I'll accept the motion that the floor be closed for nominations for the position of Secretary for the School District of Ypsilanti.